Now the way you handle bowls is very similar to the way you handle cylinders. For this demo, I'll use my lighter colored pencil. So let's go ahead and draw ourselves a little bowl. Now I don't use the lighter pencil all that much. However, it's not a bad idea, especially when you're working with porcelain or materials that are very light in color. And the reason for that is, the pencil barely shows through. So for the most part, what you'll see in the final result will be primarily watercolor. So when we're working with cylinders, like the ones I have here, the last time we did was we basically broke it down into three sides. And then if my light was up top on the left side, this area is going to get lighter, and then as it moves over to the right, it's going to get progressively less light. So it's going to step into making it a little bit darker. So if I had with my chart right here, if my light was coming in from, well, let's see, the light's coming in from the left side. So what that means is it's going to get lighter on this side, and then as it moves, it's going to go darker by each step. And of course that will also depend on the type of lighting you have. Sometimes the jump from light to dark gets a little more extreme. Now how do we handle bowls? So for bowls, think of bowls as like a cylinder, but with the sides that are tapered. So just like a cylinder, it has no sides, or you can think of it as having infinite sides, but the edge isn't straight up and down, but rather it comes in like this. So the way we handle that is much the same. Let's go ahead and divide that into threes. 1, 2, and 3. And notice how I made the center part a little bit larger. Let's do that again for the bottom. And notice the center is larger as well. And let's just draw some dotted lines. So this essentially becomes my roadmap. 1 side, 2 side, and 3 side. Now the reason why I made the center a little bit larger is simply because if you think of the area of the bowl and you think about light wrapping around it, the area in the middle is going to feel like the most sort of large. So that area is going to be kind of the largest, and then as you kind of move over to the side, that the area kind of shrinks. So basically it kind of bellows the most in the center. So once I have that done, let's go ahead and do that with the bowl. So let's make marks. It's going to be my center. The same thing I'll do over on the sides here. And then 2, and then 3. And you can barely see the marks because I'm using such a light pencil. Okay, so then let's begin. What I'll do is I'll use mostly dirty water, because there is a bit of a tone there. So let's go ahead and so there's a very light tone. Then I'll go ahead and do the same thing for the bowl. So start off with a very light tone. So the light's going to come, I'm going to have the light come in over on the left side. So with my first pass, what I'll do is I'll start from the darker end and then just bring that color outward over to the left. And then once I get close to this side, instead of going up and down, what I'll do is I'll go in the direction of the bowl. So it looks something like that. And then while the paint is still wet, let's go ahead and soften that edge. Now once that's done, let's go ahead and dry it. And now let's do the same for the third side. Again, we're going to start over on the right, and then where that side ends, let's go ahead and draw a contour along the bowl. And then while it's still wet, go ahead and soften that edge. So as you can see, this bowl is already starting to kind of feel like it's turning. Now we can go ahead and do that on the inside of the bowl as well. This can also have kind of those three sides. And let's soften this edge right here. And let's do that one more time. And there's so much water here that I don't really have to do a whole lot of softening. The water is already sort of doing it on its own. Because it's so wet, if I use a blow dryer, it's just going to blow the water all the way to the right. So I'm going to let this dry on its own. Now, depending on your light source, how the light is set up, you know, areas here can go way darker, areas here can go way darker. But for this demonstration, we're not going to worry about that. The important lesson to take from here is how to see your bowl in terms of a few sides, in which case here we're using three basic sides, and what type of edge to use so that this bowl actually will feel like a bowl instead of a kind of an abstract shape that has very hard edges. So what I'm doing now is I'm simply just silhouetting that shape with something dark behind it, and this makes it feel more and more like a bowl.